The Heart of Art is sponsored in part by the Texas A&M University Art Galleries, which includes the Stark and Forsyth Galleries located inside the MSC. The galleries provide a variety of opportunities to experience art exhibitions, events, and hands-on activities. More information at uart.tamu.edu. The Heart of Art is brought to you by the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts at Texas A&M University, bringing innovative and culturally diverse visual and performing arts programming to Texas A&M University and the Brazos Valley. The Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts fosters the creativity of our community via the transformative power of the arts.
The Heart of Art, scoping the Brazos Valley for the best artists and bringing them to your radio. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the KMU Studios. My name is Hector Nino, and you're listening to The Heart of Art. Today we have a very special show planned for you. We'll be revisiting my interview with Dr. Mary Koeninger, and this interview took place April 12th, 2022, and she is the executive director of the Brazos Valley Symphony Orchestra. She is a Texas native and a clarinet enthusiast. And my second guest will be Jennifer Korolenko, and this was an interview I had with her back in May 2nd of this year. She is the Curator of Education and Public Programs at the University Art Galleries. And we talk a little bit about the scenes in art in New Jersey and how they compare to the ones here in Texas. And why is art important for children? So if you want to find out, make sure to stay tuned. All right, now for our announcements, we have the School of Performance, Visualization, and Fine Arts has an exhibition up now titled A Transient Nature. And this exhibition features works by Austin natives such as Damian Lester, Sean Kemp, and Shannon Faisler. And it consists of abstract pieces with a theme of global warming with this ever-changing, environment. So, and this actually opened November 7th. It is closed right now due to the holidays, but it will reopen back on January 4th. And you can find this exhibition at the Wright Gallery or the Langford A Building, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it is public admission, so it is free. So go and take advantage of this art that is being made available to you here in the Brazos Valley. If you know of any artists or any art event coming up, please email theheartofart@tamu.edu. All right, now let's start my interview with Dr. Mary Koeninger. Hello, good evening, and how are you today?
Just fine. Thank you, Hector.
Awesome. I mean, becoming the executive director of the BVSO must have been a very big feat. But before we get there, I'd like to go a little bit into your background and your personal story. So what is your hometown, and how did you end up in the Brazos Valley?
Well, my hometown is Austin, Texas.
All right.
And it's a long story about how we ended up back in College Station, Texas. And so my husband and I, we were two careers in family. So for a while, we'd follow my career, and then the other would say, I'd like to follow mine for a while. And so we'd make changes and follow the different careers. And then finally, one day when we were back from work, my husband said, I'm going to go back to Texas. And so he said, would you like to come? I said, I certainly would. Thank you very much. So my husband and I moved to College Station, and he was here with a job, and I was here with just going to enjoy myself for a while. And he came home from his job, and he said, they're looking over the symphony for someone with a music background and a strong administrative background. I went, yeah, that's me. Mm-hmm. So I think a couple of days later, I applied and got an interview, and I was very lucky that they chose me to do it.
I love how you and your husband are kind of like handing each other the baton regarding your career. That's
exactly.
That's pretty nice. So I know you have very large education in music, but I wanted to ask you what your instrument of choice was.
It was clarinet.
Clarinet. Okay, was that the first one you played, or?
That was the first one. I was in 6th grade. That's what I picked out, and that's what I played.
And did you play it all throughout like primary school?
I started in sixth grade, as most kiddos in Texas do, and I went through all the way to a master's in clarinet performance.
All right.
So I played for a while.
Yeah, you can tell you loved it very much, right? And I see you have a master's in applied music and a doctorate in education, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's very evident that you loved music from the very beginning. I was wondering what kind of management work you had done prior to being here in the Brazos Valley.
Oh my goodness. I've had so many wonderful opportunities. I've been a director of bands. When I first got out of school in Colorado, I've certainly had the opportunity to was at Odessa College. That was another thing where my husband got a job in the area, and they had a job open for a person to do student activities. So I started there, and I worked my way up at Odessa College. I finished out as their dean of the liberal arts as well as the fine arts, and we started one of the first distance education programs in the state as well. So I was dean there for several years, and then we had another opportunity to make a move, and off we went. And the one I went to, my husband was for his job, so I had once again planned to, just eat jelly beans and stuff for a while, and then go find a job. There was an opportunity at one of the pharmaceutical facilities, and I thought, why are they inviting me to come down here? I don't know anything about making drugs and things. So they said, well, we need someone to do the training for us. And they said, well, since you have a doctorate, in educational administration and you've done training all your life, we thought you'd be a good fit. And so I started there and thoroughly enjoyed the job and had a lot of fun and learned a lot of things and just had a great time. And then that was when my husband came home one day from his job. He said, well, you ready to go back to Texas? Yes, thank you. So,
it seems like you've been all over the U.S. almost. So, going into your education and the fact that you studied so much music, apart from education as well, I was wondering why you decided that music was what you were going to dedicate your life to.
Well, first of all, it was a lot of fun. I was thinking about some of my teachers, and there was one particular, Vic Williams. I'll never forget him. He was my junior high teacher, 7th and 8th grade, and I cried when they split the schools to a new one. I had to go to the new one. I had to leave behind Mr. Williams. I'm still upset about that. Oh. But he just really inspired me, and I learned that you got to do a lot of practicing. If you practice, you will get better. I often say there's nothing like just talent. It's mostly hard work. So they go, well, I don't have the talent. Well, no, you need to work harder. That's what you need to do, and then you'll have the talent. Right. And so that was pretty much that start did it for me. And then I had a wonderful time when I got a small scholarship to go to UT Austin, and that's where I got my bachelor's in music and then my master's in music as well. And it was just, a wonderful time. I think I had the time of my life when I was there. I was in Longhorn Band as well as all their symphonic bands, and just had a great time. And that was when I really turned the corner from being an okay clarinetist to, at that point, one that I was very proud to be. And the teachers I met along the way that, helped you grow and taught you so much, and that you remember with incredible fondness. I think that was part of why I enjoyed doing clarinet so much. And I wish I had continued doing it, but I enjoyed being a dean. I enjoyed being able to do things that allowed me to expand even beyond music. Right. And that was pretty much the story on that.
And you're still doing that to this day, going even beyond music, right?
Absolutely true, but I am back in on music too. And
right.
So all that background comes in very, very handy because, I know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what they're thinking. I know exactly what they need. So I can, with that background, I think it's so critical, but also having the administrative background to know how to, do grants well, how to create cohesive groups. All that's critical. If you lack even one spot in there, you won't be able to accomplish as much as you would wish to. So there's still a lot more I want to accomplish, but I think my background's given me a good chance to be successful.
Right. I like that ambition. I was wondering if you had picked up any other instruments along your journey, because I know clarinet is a big one. Are there any that you kind of learned by default?
Absolutely not.
No.
No.
Clarinet all the way.
Clarinet all the way.
Okay. Awesome.
I always wanted to play piano, and I had to learn piano. You had to take class piano to get your degree. And between my senior and year when I started into college, I took some piano lessons. And I'm pretty sure you had to go for 4 semesters, and I'm pretty sure that they just passed me to get rid of me because I was the worst pianist that ever graduated from UT, or possibly any college in the world. And so I was so very thrilled that I got out of that, and then was able to go to my love, which was clarinet, and that was what I wanted to do. I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to play clarinet. So that was some of the experiences.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, at least they passed you.
I'll tell you, there was, I'm sure, a party that night. All the instructors that just were so happy that I was gone from class piano lessons.
I was wondering, you have a successful work life as well as an artistic life. How do you balance the two? Your artistic life, like you said, practicing is really important, but you also have a great career. So how do you balance the two?
Wow. I don't balance. It's all work. Mm-hmm. I tend to be a workaholic. I usually get up and at work, by sometimes 5 or 6 in the morning, and then, I don't stop that night until maybe 1 or 2 at night. But that's, it's what the job takes to bring the things to the table that everyone needs. And that's pretty much what it is. Mm-hmm. It's
just
that.
Grinding the whole day.
Absolutely.
Yes. Are you currently teaching music?
Oh, goodness, no.
No.
When I laid down my clarinet, when I became a dean, I realized my clarinet was slipping. My clarinet talents were slipping. And the other thing I discovered was I could not live with myself playing at a different level than I once was at. I wasn't playing at that top level. And then when I try and pick up the instrument again, to play some little fun thing someplace, somebody invited us to, play here or there. Right. It was so frustrating to me. And so basically, my clarinet's just retired. Right. It's enjoying that retirement.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I saw that you taught both public school and college level. I was wondering if there was any difference between teaching the two.
Wow. A whole lot. Mm-hmm. High school level, you're still dealing with people that, of course, I was a high school band director, Friday night and the whole night, 9 yards. They're still finding their way. They don't know exactly what they want to do. So music was just, another class that they took. Right. When you got into college, it started to get very serious. We're making lifelong decisions and much more serious. Had to, decide on something and really get the job done to where you were able to play or able to do what you need to do. And high school, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but college was a lot more exciting to me because you could really get down to the nuts and bolts of whatever you're majoring in, and I think that's the biggest difference.
Right, much more focused
Absolutely,
people in college.
Much more focused.
Yes, and this is kind of like a vague question, and you can interpret it however you'd like. But what do you think is the goal of music?
That's an interesting one, Hector.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we like going for the hard ones. Yeah, definitely.
The goal for music, for me,
Mm-hmm.
how I looked at it was joy, accomplishment, doors opening, relationships, Those were the things that I think of.
Hmm. I also had a question. How do you recruit talent for the Brazos Valley Symphony Orchestra?
Oh, wow. That's one of the things that I enjoy the most is we have such incredible talent. We have people who've, completed their doctorate that you may have a degree in performance. One just joined us on French horn, and he's actually has master's, but he's looking at finishing his DMA up at Michigan. But research, various people visiting with us. I do a lot of, like I said, research, various ones in various parts of Texas, and we've been very lucky to find some incredible people that perform with us, and it just warms my heart to know that so many people want to come play with us because of our reputation throughout the state.
Awesome. And what is the mission statement of the Brazos Valley Symphony Orchestra, and what do you all expect that the people from the community can get from such an experience?
Well, to paraphrase, is listening to wonderful music and also incredible educational experiences. And we hope that people that come to our concerts, that it's a time you can sit back and personally to be able to go to a very incredibly important place in your mind where you're just getting the joy of that music, the tempo of that music, the lines of the music, and it just makes you feel wonderful. And for our, we have a very robust children's program. We do children's concerts. Kids come from all over Brazos Valley, and we get calls from outside. Can we come? Well, sure, come on. we got seats. Come on over. So we'll have some buses arrive from outside the Brazos Valley, and we got plenty of room for everybody. Awesome. Youth concerto competition starting this year. We're going to be giving a $1,000 scholarship to the winner. Once they decide to go to college, that $1,000 will be sent there, and then they'll have that $1,000 toward their education. And just there's something for everyone. And so just, the joy, the learning, all those are so important, so incredibly important.
Right. And if someone from the community is looking to get involved with the BVSO, say through volunteering opportunities, is there somewhere where they can go for that?
Absolutely. Call our office at 696-6100. Or you can also, if you'd like to, send me an email at executive@bvso.org. We're always looking for people that are willing to help and would like to help. And there's many, many, many things to be done.
Right. Yeah, you need a lot of help in there.
A lot of
help. Well, I encourage everyone that's listening to go and check out their website and make that phone call if you are looking to get involved. Thank you so much, Dr. Mary Koeninger. I am so honored to be in your presence. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, Hector, and I'm honored to be in yours.
All right, you guys, we will be going on a quick break, but do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
Support for KAMU comes from the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts at Texas A&M University, bringing innovative and culturally diverse visual and performing arts programming to Texas A&M University and the Brazos Valley. The Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts fosters the creativity of our community via the transformative power of the arts.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the KMU Studios. My name is Hector Nino, and you're listening to The Heart of Art. Now we will be moving on to my interview with Jennifer Korolenko, Curator of Education for the University Art Galleries. Hi, Jen. How are you today?
Hello, Hector. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm very excited for a conversation today. I like to start off by going over the background of my guests first and see where their love for art began.
Sure.
So I wanted to ask you, where is home for you?
Home for me is actually Trenton, New Jersey. So quite a long distance from Aggieland.
Yes, very much so. And is that where your love for art began?
It is. I was kind of an odd duck in my family. I was a big reader and writer and doodler, I guess. No one else in my family really had a particular interest in art or music or anything cultural. And I know that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But I come from a big a really big Italian and Irish family on the East Coast. So everybody is about cooking and eating and talking really loud and projecting their voices.
Yes.
Not necessarily about going to the opera or taking a stroll through a museum. But my parents were incredible. They were kind of like, we don't get you, but we support you.
Yes, my parents were the exact same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. My mom has taken me to so many museums where I've pointed out, like, very enthusiastically, some squares inside of squares, like a Joseph Albers kind of situation. And I'm geeking out about it. And she's just nodding her head and smiling politely, like, when's lunch? This is not okay.
She's there for you. She's there for you.
Yeah. Definitely emotional support.
I saw that you got your Bachelor's of Fine Arts in teacher education,
Yes.
right? From the College of New Jersey.
I did.
I was wondering, why did you decide to pursue art education, and why not like art or education alone?
Well, I think it was from a practical point of view. I was a person who graduated from high school, and I didn't take time off after high school, but I did transition to a community college situation and knew that my focus was going to be art generally. But the practical way to pursue that with my socioeconomic standing, I'm a first-generation college student. Neither of my parents even have high school diplomas, technically. So the struggle to just get to college was a bit more, I think, than the average person.
Definitely.
And in that way, I kind of had to look at how am I going to support myself immediately upon graduation, not necessarily how am I going to work my way into a job doing free internships and residencies and things like that don't pay a cost of living.
Right.
I'm like, at the end of the day, I needed to eat. So
Right.
that is the direction I practically pursued.
Okay, I understand. I've been on the same boat.
Yeah.
I was wondering about the art scenes in New Jersey and Texas and like how they differ. Yeah, do you have anything?
That's a really good question. I think the Northeast, while it is a smaller geographical location, I come from an area where I'm basically in that like little armpit part of New Jersey that's like in the little curve on the inside part, not near the ocean. So basically, we call ourselves the tri-state area, and that's basically just New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. So while Trenton not necessarily didn't have a huge art scene that I discovered until probably like my late teens, early 20s, I had access to the tri-state area. So I was able to visit New York and Philadelphia and hubs of cities like that. The art scene here in Texas is kind of similar insofar as there are like metropolitan hubs of art and culture within the state of Texas.
Okay.
And then there are also pockets of weird that we like to sprinkle throughout. And I think the same is true for the tri-state area.
Okay, those pockets of weird.
Yeah.
Still there. Okay. Okay, so from New Jersey, you came straight to Texas, or was there an in-between?
There was. I actually applied for Teach for America, like when I was almost 30, I guess.
Okay.
And that was when I was thinking I was going to go back from museum education and do K-12 again. And I did do that for a while, but it just wasn't. It wasn't where I was most flourishing, we'll put it that way.
All right, yeah.
So I decided that museum education was truly kind of my calling and something that I really excelled at and was able to manage and balance and still be creative. So I decided that was the career path I was going to pursue permanently.
Awesome. I'm glad you took that leap. And I can see through your background that you are very invested in the relationship between education and art.
Yes.
I was wondering, why do you think it's important for children to learn about art? Or what do you think it does for them?
I think art generally helps people express themselves in ways in which they have difficulty communicating, whether that be verbally, whether that be in a written capacity, whether that be visually. And it's a symbiotic relationship between the artist and the viewer and society and the artist.
Yeah.
And that constant flow of conversation and flexibility has always been so interesting to me. And you just see people open up when they're exposed to art. And the same is true. It's easy to get, to get a 5-year-old to say, wow. I mean, that's incredibly easy. But the problem with not being exposed to the arts at incredibly young ages, when they're developmentally more impressionable, let's say, when you're forming who you are through your experiences, nature, nurture, all that stuff. But having the tool of creative problem solving, creative thinking, just creative curiosity to explore more, to learn more, it kind of fosters that whole lifelong learning element that we're now pushing in society to realize, okay, so we've met pretty much mostly everyone's basic needs. Like, you don't have to go and hunt an animal to eat at the end of the day. So what are you going to do with this spare time that we would normally be like running away from predators in the wild? Yeah, exactly. So that is where the arts can help us to really strive and to really be successful and to get outside of our comfort zones, because that is incredibly important, I think, to be a well-balanced and not necessarily logical person, but a person who can hold a debate when it comes to many topics throughout their lives. So I think it's just a really helpful and intuitive tool that we all have in us.
Yeah, I feel like it helps reinforce like your own ideas and makes them stronger as well. So thank you for doing that for children in our community.
I'm happy to do it. I love being a goofball. Like, story time is my favorite time of year, and it's coming up soon.
I was wondering, as curator of education, and what does that exactly entail?
Okay, so curating, I think we use that word curate and curating, like the act of curating, pretty heavily in today when we're talking about ourselves as influencers, as creators, as makers generally, as that has gone beyond the classroom and beyond the artist as someone who's working within their practice. It's something that everyone does. They curate their Instagram. They curate their liked TikTok videos. They curate who they text their TikToks to, like who you share them with.
Yeah.
So the act of curating is basically just selecting the things in which speak to you or hold information in which you would like to find more about, and then kind of creating a narrative around it. So the curator will select the objects that they want for a specific art show or an exhibition rather, and they will also create a sort of theme based on those objects. And that can be really, really obvious, like maybe we do everything that has a flower on it for this exhibition. But where my job starts to come into play in the process of curating in a museum environment is that I then take those themes and this academic style writing, which curators classically will write very academic style papers and labels and things of that nature. My job is to then digest that information and make it accessible for the average person.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've ever had a prof who used to tell you to write to, the reading level of like a 5th grader or something like that, which is generally what people are. It's about that, but it's also about making it content in which people want to want to consume rather, because we are so bombarded with that kind of thing. It's my job to go through not only the objects, but the techniques, the artists, their lives, their misadventures, their successes, and also the context of social matters that were within the context of the time period, and make that all digestible and more easy to understand for somebody who's just going to walk in off the street. And I assume that you know nothing. That's my assumption when I talk to anyone about any piece of art.
Awesome.
I'm assuming that you know nothing, and I will meet you where you are.
Well, thank you so much, Jen. Thank you for all you do for the university as well. And just thanks for stopping by. I learned so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, anytime. All right, you guys, that is the end of our show. A big thank you to Dr. Mary Koeninger as well as Jennifer Korolenko for being a part of the show. And I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful Christmas break. Have a great week and make sure to tune in next week. I'm Hector Nino, and you've been listening to The Heart of Art, a production of 90.9 KAMU FM. You can find all of our shows anytime at kamu.tamu.edu.
The Heart of Art is brought to you by the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts at Texas A&M University, bringing innovative and culturally diverse visual and performing arts programming to Texas A&M University and the Brazos Valley. The Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts fosters the creativity of our community via the transformative power of the arts. The Heart of Art is sponsored in part by the Texas A&M University Art Galleries, which includes the Stark and Forsyth Galleries located inside the MSC. The galleries provide a variety of opportunities to experience art exhibitions, events, and hands-on activities. More information at uart.tamu.edu.